Hello, welcome back to the channel, where today we are on capfriendly.com, taking a look at the Columbus Blue Jackets, specifically in the Seattle expansion draft. Now, I'm going to try um, and kind of predict and give you my opinion on who the Jackets might protect and who I think they should protect. As you can see, they can only protect 7 forwards, 3 defensemen, and 1 goalie, or 8 forwards and 1 goalie. Now, I'll go through here every section and give you who I would protect, starting off with Cam Atkinson. Now, Cam Atkinson has recently signed a long extension, as you can see here, $5.875 million over the next 5 years. I believe he signed that a few years ago. It was like an 8-year deal or something like that. Um, but you need to protect Cam. He's your first line right winger, an offensive powerhouse. You know, when he got injured this year, the Blue Jackets offense kind of tapered off. When he came back, he gave that offensive punch that the Jackets needed. So you need to protect Cam. Moving on to Brandon Dubinsky. He's been really good for the Jackets ever since we acquired him in the Rick Nash trade. But you know, it's hard to protect a 33-year-old center with a contract as large as he has, especially this year since he has been out all year with a wrist injury. So it's difficult for me to warrant protecting a guy like him, even though he's a fan favorite. He's a really good centerman in the NHL, but I'm not protecting Brandon Dubinsky. Um, Now Nick Foligno is kind of in that same boat a little bit. He's a 32-year-old left winger with a $5.5 million contract for the next year. Uh, but you know he is your captain. Um, he's not an offensive juggernaut, but he can dump the puck really well. He knows what he's doing on the ice. So for that reason, I'm keeping the captain around. I'm protecting Nick Foligno. Uh, Gus Nyquist. There's a reason that he came in, and there's a reason the Blue Jackets signed him. I think no brainer. You need to protect Gus Nyquist. Now moving on to Alexander Wenberg. Now I've been reading up on this a little bit. Other um, sports writers' predictions. They don't have Wenberg protected. Now I do. I have Wenberg protected, mostly because of his play currently this year. Um, when the Blue Jackets had Panarin, and then they traded for Dzingel, most games Wenberg was a healthy scratch. He wasn't getting the playing time, but now this year, being I believe he's a third line center, he's really had time, to show that he can play center at the NHL level. He's shown that he has soft hands. He can handle the puck really well. He's starting to shoot a little bit more, and he's putting the puck in the back of the net more than usual. So moving on to Boone Jenner. Boone Jenner again, kind of like Nick Foligno. He's not an offensive powerhouse. He's not going to give you a bunch of goals, but he's a really good two-way offenseman. He can attack the net, but he also defends really well on the defensive zone. Excuse me. So I think you need to keep Boone around. Riley Nash, I like him. He's your fourth line center. I don't know, but I don't think you can protect someone as a fourth line center, especially when you have all this young talent down here. So for that reason, I'm going to leave him unprotected and protect Oliver Bjorkstrand. Oliver Bjorkstrand is your second line winger. He has really come on this year as a goal scoring forward. He's been playing really well this year. He has 16 goals on the season. That leads the Blue Jackets in goals. Not only that, but he's had 6 goals in his last 3 games. So he's really turned it on this year. He's a hot hockey player right now. Um, so moving on from Oliver, you have Josh Anderson. Um, your third line winger. He's been struggling this year as of late. He is a restricted free agent this year. but I don't think you can keep him. I don't think you can keep him protected, especially since, we already have 6 forwards protected. So you got to leave him off and protect Pierre-Luc Dubois, your young centerman that you drafted, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I believe, 2016 draft. Restricted free agent at the end of the year, but I do believe the Jackets pay up and they give him a nice extension. Now, moving on to the defense. Here's where it gets more difficult since you can only protect 3. But you have to protect Seth Jones and you have to protect Werenski. Those 2 guys are your best blue liners, and arguably, in my opinion, they are the 2 faces of the Columbus Blue Jackets franchise. They are your best players by far, not only on the offense but defense as well. And then, looking down at the rest of the defenders, it really gets tough from here out. Ryan Murray, a former 2nd overall pick, he was brought in to be that top line defenseman. He really hasn't played up to that level. He's always injured. UFA in 2021 with that large $4.6 million contract hit. I don't think you can keep him for long. I don't know if they even keep him on the books before the expansion draft. There's been rumors of they might trade him. And then David Savard. I like David Savard. He's a really good second-line defenseman. He's really good at blocking shots. He gets right up into offensive players' faces. He doesn't back down. But again, with this defensive depth they have, you have to keep the younger players. So I keep David Savard off the protect list, and I protect Marcus Nudavara. A former 7th-round draft choice who has really come into his own as a defender. He's been playing really well. He has a high ceiling. A team-friendly contract at only $2.7 million with how well he's playing as a defender. I think you need to protect him. So there's your forwards and your defensemen. And lastly is goalie. And you have to keep Jonas your starter, your current starter, especially with only that $1.15 million contract hit. Now, he is a restricted free agent after 2020. But again, just like PLD, just like Dubois, I think he gets a nice contract extension at the end of the year. So there's who I believe the Jackets could, and hopefully will protect in the upcoming Seattle expansion draft. Now, I know it's a little bit early for this. I don't think the expansion draft is until 2021. But I just wanted to make this video. It's kind of fun to see the roster and look at who the Jackets might protect. So thank you for watching. If you like the video, go ahead and drop a like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like it. And I'll see you guys next time.